So let's look at a few more examples. This is going to be the special case, that side-side angle. And like I said before, a side-side angle can result in 0 triangles and 1 triangle or 2 triangles. 0 triangles means that that information just won't work for that to set up a triangle. So let's look at these. It's going to help if you draw a picture of what's going on with. So ABC, we know angle B is 40. Side B is 4. Side C is 3. And we don't know A. So we are looking for side A, we are looking for angle A, and we are looking for angle C. That's what we need to complete this triangle. So I'll keep all that information right here. Now, you're going to need to recognize that this is that special case. So we've got a side, and then that angle. So this is side angle. Side angle is the one that is a little difficult to deal with because you got to think about all the different scenarios. So let's start by seeing if we can find maybe side C, or angle C rather. So we're going to set up sine of B over B equals sine of C over C. And the reason I chose that is because I know angle B, and side C. So I've got sine of 40 over 4 is equal to sine of C over 3. Let's do some fancy math. We're going to cross multiply. So sine of C is going to be equal to 3 sine of 40 divided by 4. And then we're going to plug that in. And then we're going to take the inverse sine of that. So I got 28.8 for that. Okay, the question is that going to be our only result? So let's think through this. So what if that were true? C is 28.8 degrees. Then angle A would be 180 minus 40, because that was given to us for angle B, minus 28.8. So 180 minus 40 minus 28.8. And that would give us 111.2. And if that were the case, then we could figure out side A. So we would set up sine of A over A equals sine of B over B. So we have sine of A, which is 111.2, over A equals sine of B over B. Cross multiply. Divide, and then compute that. So I'm using my calculator for sine of 111.2 divided by sine of 40 gives me an angle side of 5.8. All right. So this one is different because in this step here, we had to take the inverse sine of both sides. But you got to be careful when we take inverse sine, right? Because inverse sine inverse sine is going to give us a positive value here in that first quadrant, but we know sine's also positive in the second quadrant. So we could end up with something that's over here when we take inverse sine. We don't know unless we test it. And that's why this is a little bit more complex than the other two cases. So we got to do like a what if scenario. So let's do a what if. And we got to do a what if, and we got to say, is this possible? Okay, so what if when we took the inverse sine and we got 28.8, we're thinking about 28.8 here, right? But we got to think about what would happen in that second quadrant. In that second quadrant, this would be 28.8. So this angle here would be 180 minus 28.8. So 180 minus 28.8 is 151.2. So we're saying, what if angle C was 151.2? Okay, is it possible? Well, let's try it. So if C is 151.2, we would still have to figure out all these other things, right? So this is our what if scenario, 151.2 here. So angle A would be 180 minus 151.2 minus 40, because 40 was angle B. Okay, is it possible? That's what we're asking. So 180 minus 151.2 minus 40 is not going to give us something that's possible. That gives us a negative angle value. And we can't have a negative angle, right? So is it possible? No. But we still had to consider that, all because we took the arc sine to figure out angle C. So you have to think about all possibilities. So in this case, we resulted in one triangle. And this is the triangle. A is going to be 5.8. Angle A is 111.2. Angle C is 28.8. So you always got to think about, if it's side-side angle, are there more than one possibility? Let's look at the next one. And this is where you may want to try it, come back, and check your answer. So let's start by drawing a picture. So ABC, angle A is 60, side A is 4, side B is 5, and we don't know side C. So what do we need to find? We need to find angle B, we need to find angle C, and we need to find side C. So I'm going to put all the stuff in a box. Now, once again, this is side-side angle. So we got to think about all possibilities. That's the one that's going to give us problems. So let's set up everything. So we're going to do sine of 60 over 4. That's sine A over A is equal to sine of B over 5. Cross multiply. 5 sine 60 is equal to 4 sine of B. So 5 sine of 60 divided by 4 is equal to sine of B. So we're going to get a decimal, then take the inverse. So we're going to have 5 sine of 60 divided by 4. That's about 1.8. 1.08. Okay, but we know when we take the inverse sine of something bigger than 1, we have a problem. There's no solution to that. Okay, if you were to try that in your calculator, you're going to get an error. So what that tells us is it's not possible to create a triangle with this information. So we would say there's no triangle. that satisfies that information. So our first one resulted in one triangle. This one resulted in no triangles. Let's look at B. So you're going to want to take a minute, draw a picture of what's going on. So here's A, B, and C. B is 40 degrees. Side B is 2. Side C is 3. So missing information, side A, angle C. So let's set up what we know. We're going to do sine of 40 over 2 equals sine of C over 3. That's where we're going to start. Sine of 40 over 2 equals sine of C over 3. Cross multiply. So we have 3 sine of 40 divided by 2. It's about 0.96. And I am using quite a few decimals here just to show you what's going on. Okay, if you round to one decimal place, it's going to throw everything off. Make sure you use quite a few. And inverse sine of that is going to give me 74.6 degrees. So let's finish the triangle solving it this way because we know there's a solution, right? So that means angle A is going to be 180 minus 40 minus 74.6. 180 minus 40 minus 74.6. That's going to be 65.4 degrees. And then to find side A, I'm going to use sine of 65.4 over A equals sine of 40 over 2. And then when I plug that in, I got A to be about 2.83. But remember, we got to do that what if scenario, right? So what if okay, let's think about what we did. Because we did this arc sine here, we got this to be 74.6 degrees. So what if it would have been something over here? What if that would have been the reference angle? So then that means angle C would be 180 minus 74.6, which would be 105.4. 180 minus 74.6. Yeah, 105.4. So that's possible. Okay, let's see if angle A would be possible. So angle A would be 180 minus 105.4 minus angle B. And if I were to subtract that, I'm going to get 34.6. And that is possible. So we actually have two triangles that's going to come out of this. Okay, we've got this first triangle here, and now we're finding the second one. We found angle C and angle A, so now let's find that missing side. So if we set that up, sine of 34.6 over A is equal to sine of 40 over 2, fancy math, and we're going to get 1.77. So we've got two triangles with this being one solution, and then we've got this guy, and this is actually an obtuse triangle because one of the angles is bigger than 90 degrees as a solution. So we could have 0, 1, or 2. result from that side-side angle case.